Hi guys, how is it going? I want to talk about my least favorite vehicles. I want to talk about Honda Civics, okay? I'm just kidding. It's not my least favorite vehicle. But I do want to talk about Civic Coin. It's now January 26th, 5:35. Every time I look at a new chart that I haven't seen before, I think of ways to play it, right? And every time we approach a chart, we have to see it as where can we find opportunity and what makes sense. So we're going to take a look at Civic, and I'm going to walk you guys through my thoughts, and I'm going to let you guys know how I would play this, and hopefully it can give you some insight to how you guys can also play it as well, right? Now, just to be clear, I'm not a financial advisor, as you guys know already. I just like to talk about general strategy and my opinion and what I would personally do. So take that information always as how you guys wish. And if you guys enjoy the content, I'd really appreciate an upvote on steemit, and make sure you guys also like and share the stuff on or subscribe as well to like YouTube, Twitter, the whole 9 yards, just for the support to let me know I'm doing a good job. So let's talk about Civic. Now, this coin was released in August last year. I'm on Civic Bitcoin on Bittrex here right now. So the way I play these is I first of all look for a very relevant support region, and I look for something that could make sense in terms of an apex, something that is squeezing into a particular place that will draw my attention, and then I will follow it. I'll keep following it to see what happens. I'll try to get a general trend direction, and then I'll play the breakout if we have confirmed some sort of breakout. So the first thing that we should always do whenever we look at a chart is draw some sort of relevant support line, right? Some sort of relevant support line, whether it be like, this is on a daily, for example, whether it be like that, something like that, just to get a very average idea of how it looks, okay? Now the second thing that I do is draw the resistances and the supports as well. So if I actually drew a line connecting this bottom point right there, it actually does something like that, doesn't it, guys? Pretty darn close, right? There's something right in here. Kind of wedges into this specific area, doesn't it? Now, another thing I would like to do is I want to see, hey, is there a valid support region anywhere that's horizontal? Let's try to see if we can get in the areas that had really good price action there that could act as a relevant support area. Hey, what we find is when it was first released, right? I don't think a lot of people want to let it get lower than this zone right now. So indicators, guys. I haven't been going over a lot of these indicators like RSI and also MACD, etc. because during neutral zones, it's very hard to even let anything tell us anything, right? All that we see is a sideways trend, and we have seen so for the past 10 days about with this coin now. So I'm on the 4-hour chart right now, and what I do see is this. It's hard to do that. I gotta lock the screen here. So I see lots of price action right there, right here as well. And also we're seeing the exact same thing here as well. So my logic is that it is squeezing into this point right now. Now another way to look at this as well is if I went to a daily chart, for example, and I also draw a relevant support line like that, which I know a lot of you guys may not want to see, but we also have to see this as a descending triangle, don't we? Right? That certainly looks like a descending triangle. So a great way to play this is to see what happens, right? Now that we've got this very relevant sloped support line right here, or might not be the best way to draw it. It might even be like that. That'd be the better way, right? Actually, let's go to 4-hour chart. Let's see if this can make more sense around here. All right, I'm just trying to get more information here. It's very hard sometimes to when there's not a lot of data available and the charts just keep zooming in and out like that. So this looks pretty good as well, right? So what we're seeing is high price action area where the green box is right now. We're also seeing a horizontal support line right there, and we're also seeing a sloped horizontal support line right there as well. So we ask ourselves, hey, is it possible to break into a descending triangle right there? And yeah, it's definitely possible to break this descending triangle. And then we ask ourselves, if it breaks that, is it possible to break this right here? So once we have this on our radar, Excuse me there. Once we have this on our radar, the way I would play this is I'd wait for this to unfold. Now, we've got a few days to go. We've got about a week and a half to go, and there's absolutely no action yet. So I keep a really big list of coins on my Excel tracker that I'm, depending on where they are in the progression, right? I constantly update it every day. And depending on the coin, it might be in a different market cycle than other coins, right? This one right here, for example, I'd probably call it consolidation, possible breakout soon, and I would just be waiting. I'd be waiting, guys, for this point. I'd be very patient. You guys need to understand that patience is super important in this game, and that I've got a lot of. So now, I'm keeping my eye on this specific point right here. Some regions we will consider it a bull trap. No problem. But we can all agree that it's definitely wedging into this specific point right there, right? And this is a lower region that it could break to easily. So what I would wait for is this right here. I'd wait for a successful breakout. We would say to ourselves, hey, can this possibly break up? See, if you look on where I drew the resistance, not a single candle closed successfully above it with a lot of conviction, right? This one did, but that's a really bad candle still. So we would want to close above this successfully above this resistance with a lot of volume as well and conviction to confirm an uptrend, right? Otherwise, it's not even worth entering it. So my advice to everybody, and I'm no financial advisor, but just saying this generally, because my goal in my cryptocurrency channel and YouTube and Twitter, etc., is to teach people how to think critically rather than throw calls out there, right? Throwing calls out there, guys, that's easy. I can just look at every single coin. If we had an unlimited amount of money, we would just do TA on every single coin on the world, and we would just keep taking the chances and just keep throwing spaghetti on the wall, and we would see what sticks. And eventually it would be profitable over time, right? That's pretty much playing the game of probability in there. And that's what I do. I just do as much TA as I can on coins on bitfinex, and I will take all the potential trades that I think are worth my risk to reward, and profitably over time. Over time, it's very profitable because you play the game of casino and probability, and you focus on winning over time. Now this coin, I really couldn't even begin to tell you guys if it's going to break up or down. These things are impossible to tell sometimes, right? That's why we're not really making a lot of predictions right now. It's a lot better to just talk about what could possibly go on and how to possibly play this, rather than talking about specifics of where it could get to. So what I highly recommend to everybody to do is just to watch for this critical region right here, right? I've drawn it from pretty much here just down to over here right now. And we cannot deny this sloped support as well that acts as it, and that acts as a support, and it's basically wedging it into an apex area, right? And apex is where two critical points meet like this. And upon meeting, something happens, breaking up or breaking down. Of course, we would like it to break down, right? So if you guys entered a long position right now, right, it would just be wishful thinking. You don't know if it's going to go up or down. I would never enter a long position here. And this is just a massive area of consolidation, to be honest. This is not even considered an impulse to me. To me, I consider this right here as A, B, and I consider this as C, right? Right now. I don't consider any of this an impulse yet because it hasn't broken above B. I consider this still an X in my eyes. That can still fail to make an extended ABC or something like that down over here. So until we have actually broken out of here, I would not even consider this an impulse move up. But what I can say is that the volume is starting to pick up in this region, and people are actually getting interested in it. And I can also say that it has retraced a very healthy amount, guys. It has retraced a really healthy amount of 618. So this is the date before February 9. You guys need to look for a successful close. Like that. You need to look for a successful close. Just pretend that's a candle. And then you also need to look for a wick that rejects that region down there. What the wick implies is that, first of all, the bulls have successfully closed above it, but the bears have tried to push it back down, but they have miserably failed because the bulls have made that long wick by pushing it back up. That's the market psychology behind these candles, okay? that the bulls have successfully defended from the bears. So what I would be looking for is a successful close above this trendline resistance. And we have multiple points right now. We have here, we have here, here, we have here. Well, if one candle closes successfully above it right now, it could be a really good indication. What we are finding is lots of candles that are getting tighter and tighter. These are called inside candles, okay? It's getting tighter and tighter around this specific support zone. And another really good sign that I see is that it's bouncing off of the 55 EMA, right? It's bouncing off of the 55 EMA. And this is just going to level off, in my opinion, just like that. And then something will happen here. It'll either just curve down, right? Or perhaps it will just actually curve upwards like that. And then we will break out. So there's no play, guys. Once again, if you enter a trade right here, right now, make sure you guys have a stop loss, right? Stop loss is obviously going to be somewhere clearly lower than here. But the most important thing is to wait for confirmation, guys. To wait for confirmation. And obviously, if that was an actual wave upwards, we can easily project where it could be. And I'll follow up with this coin down the road if we can confirm an uptrend. So if this went to an uptrend, we'd easily be looking anywhere between these regions for the final wave 5. I'd say around 25,000 Satoshi. Whoops. Around 25,000 Satoshi there. But the thing about these X impulse ups is that we don't really know what direction they're going to go until we get a lot more data. I do see a lot of volume just dying off right here, guys. And this is a coin I would definitely add to my tracker once again, just to see if there's a breakout. And these are very profitable to play, guys. Regardless of if it goes up or down, it doesn't matter to me, right? Because it's going to be one that's added to my list. If it goes down, so what? I missed out on a chance. But if it goes up, I'm going to wait for that confirmation, and then I'll just enter on confirmation, and then I'll use my simple Fibonacci extension tool to target a 1-to-1 ratio for wave 3. And for wave 5 there, I would just use a simple 161.8 extension. So this is like, you know, just to give you guys a rough idea, like wave 3, I would assume somewhere here, and then wave 5 somewhere up there, if it does break out. Now, there's no guarantee if it's going to break out, and I apologize if I'm giving you guys information that you may not want to hear, but I highly want to emphasize how to trade properly rather than just take guesses, okay? If you just take guesses and you think it's going to go up, you're in no good of a situation, right? Because you don't know. You're literally just guessing, and you have a stop loss, and you're also a little greedy, to be honest, okay? The reason why you're greedy is because you're trying to catch it at the bottom before it breaks out, right? You're buying the dip. Well, I guess it is greedy, but a less greedy person who's more conservative, like myself, for example, would most likely buy it on the breakout up here instead, once confirmation is obtained. So once confirmation is obtained, boom, we easily ride this to a 1-to-1 extension for 157% profit there. But hey, if we have no confirmation, then we don't enter a trade, and there's no money that we're risking whatsoever. Think of confirmation as a way of entering a trade once you have confirmed an uptrend. It minimizes your risk, right? If you have confirmed an uptrend, awesome! You can enter on this uptrend and ride the wave. But if you haven't confirmed it yet, you're just taking a massive chance, right? But if you don't wait for confirmation, and once your skills get better, right, you can enter very much so near the bottom of for example, when 5 beautiful Elliott waves have already formed. But in this case, because we're still in some sort of consolidation phase right now, and there's no clear impulse wave up, these coins are the hardest to play, and we have to wait until we have confirmation and until an actual trend or pattern is broken. So I really advise for people to not get too interested in this coin, but keep it on your radar and be extra interested if it breaks up, right? So the next logical thing that we can assume is that because this is a high area of activity that's acting as a resistance, well, if that breaks, then the next area that we would see is most likely down here. And that'd be pretty horrible to see because we haven't seen that since like December 2nd, right? So this is basically the support zone if that descending triangle breaks, okay? But let's say Bitcoin, for example, ends up rallying and this coin rallies with it, then we'll absolutely see an uptrend. So there's only one of two things that can happen, guys. It's not going to sideways once it reaches this apex. It's going to decide, hey, is it going to go down or is it going to break up? and do this one-to-one extension, form an impulse wave, eventually get to 161.8? Or is it going to get down to over here where people will be interested again, and then you get an opportunity to buy it extremely cheap and go long? So those are my thoughts on CIVIC right now. Regardless of what happens, guys, like, you will profit, right? Think of it. Think of all the risk to reward scenarios right now in the setups. If it breaks down, big whoop. You didn't enter anything. You didn't lose any money. You got a chance to get it really low. You get a chance to possibly play a position right here. You know, target right around here again. That's still 159% gain there with the very tight stop loss around there. Beautiful risk to reward scenario. Hey, if it breaks out right here, great. After confirmation, you'll enter slightly up there. Cool. Your stop loss would be somewhere right around here, because what was formerly a resistance is now a support. Then you'll enter right here. You'll target, up to you guys what you target. 1-to-1 about, at least minimum for wave 3, or you can be very aggressive and you can go for a 161.8 for wave 5 there, and you still get a beautiful 10.1 risk to reward scenario. I mean, how much more beautiful can that be, right? So those are the possible plays that I see for CIVIC. Nothing is set in stone yet, but like I always say, the best traders are the ones that react to market changes, right? And market conditions and market sentiment, rather than the ones who just shoot in the dark and they try to predict. I think the majority of my success has come from reacting. I'm very good at reading signs on the fly, and as we get more information, you know, especially if it breaks resistances or supports, then I formulate a new thesis and I try to come up with a different strategy to approach it. And the best way I can approach this one right now is just to wait till this apex finishes and see if it breaks down to a lower support region, or see if it goes up like that. So those are my quick thoughts on CIVIC right now. If you guys enjoy these videos and it has helped you in any way, I'd appreciate an upvote on steemit, and make sure you guys also like, subscribe, and share to all the stuff on Twitter as well. And other than that, have yourselves a great day, and I really appreciate you guys supporting all this information, all this material that I put out. Have yourselves a great night now. Bye.